All right, guys, how are you? Welcome into the live stream and the Daily Juice podcast. My name is Matt Perrault here on bettingpros.com's YouTube channel and on wherever you get your podcasts. This will be the Daily Juice podcast for today. So we're going to have a little bit of a different spin to this because we're going to answer questions. I'm going to go through all 16 games for tomorrow against the spread, making picks. Now, if you guys are going to post messages, I'm going to be able to monitor this coming up here on the YouTube channel, so you guys can come in and ask questions and say whatever you'd like. Ask me about different things. But one thing I will ask you guys to do, though, is to tell me how the microphone sounds. So here's a little bit of a story. So we're doing my radio show from the Strip tomorrow. And so I took all of my equipment down, and I thought, okay, so I go in down there, I'm going to test it out, and all I got to do is turn around and bring it all back, and then we get the live stream. Well, I forgot a pretty important piece of equipment, the microphone and the setup. So unfortunately, you guys are getting me here on a different microphone, so I sound totally different than what I normally sound, and, we'll see how this kind of all goes, but hopefully it all kind of shakes out here, and hopefully we sound somewhat decent. We sound good? Okay. The video is fuzzy. The video is fuzzy. Okay. So hopefully the video improves. But let me know as we roll through here. Let me know how this whole thing sounds. This is very new. This is all kind of a trial and error situation. So we've positioned, if you guys have watched the live streams before, we've changed the camera angle and we've changed the position of the the lighting structure. So we're trying to get the lighting structure to be a little bit better, to look a little bit better. So, all right, let's do it. Daily Juice podcast here on a Friday morning and here on a Thursday afternoon for a live stream. And okay, so we're good. So everyone says we're looking good. Everyone says we're going good. All right, let's rock and roll here. Okay, so we're 1-1 on the day. Michigan State up next. Boy, that was a sweat for Drake. So Drake +2, that gets home for us. That was really nice. I loved to see that. We needed that because of what happened with Mount St. Mary's. So kind of a bummer. I come out of the gym and I'm all like bouncing and like excited and like, hey, let's go. Like, oh God, really? What happened? Mount St. Mary's gets beaten in the second half by Texas Southern. So start off the day 0-1. That's not good. So then we roll into a really hard first half for Drake, and they went on a 10-0 run to end the first half. Now, this is something to watch, okay? Something to watch for Loyola Chicago in their game coming up here against Georgia Tech. The Valley, for a long time, has had a problem with starting slow in games because of the layoff. They're not up to speed. Georgia Tech played just last Sunday in the ACC Championship game. Loyola hasn't played for, 2 weeks? When they played 2 weeks ago in the Missouri Valley Conference Championship game. So that layoff was obvious. Drake couldn't hit a darn thing. And then they woke up. And they survived because, Wichita State decided to take a 3 when they didn't need to take a 3. Why not take that ball to the rack, man? Go up, lay that. I mean, make the referee have to make a call. Don't take a pull-up jumper from 5 feet behind the three-point line. I'm not complaining, okay? I mean, we had Drake +2. That 3 goes, it's a push. So when he pulled up for 3, I was like, you're kidding me. And then it was short. So Drake wins. I, unfortunately, after everyone, and I mean 3 different people on the air and 2 others off the air, said, Matt, you have the best number for Drake. Middle that. You got 3. Take it. Lay the 3 for Wichita State. +3, and you got +3 on Drake. You got a middle opportunity. You'll hit both bets. I've been burned a lot with that. And so instead of, one of my friends said, look, losing the juice is not really losing. No, it is. It is to me, right? If I'm going to lose nearly a half a unit because I'm betting on both sides and it doesn't hit, if Drake blows him out or Wichita blows him out, that's frustrating to me. So the middle hit. And the text messages poured in saying, did you do it? Did you do it? And no, I didn't do it. So I just took the win. I'm not being kind of a sore winner here, but it was annoying. Okay, put it that way. I choked on it. Should have done it. I was told by multiple people, do it. And I didn't do it. And it's kind of like one of those things at the blackjack table where everyone's standing around and like telling you to hit on 17. And you're like, nope, not hitting on 17. And then, you end up, you win your card, but everybody else wanted you to hit or take a bus card or whatever. So it's just frustrating when that happens. Everyone's telling you to do it. And you're going to hold steady. If I had pushed, I would have been really mad because it would have been a push and a win. So that was one person's point, saying if that 3 goes, it's a push and a win. So now, you're up the same. So it's, it really doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. So Norfolk State and App State are playing right now. Then we have Michigan State taking on UCLA in the nightcap, which is going to be a pretty boring game. So tomorrow we've got a litany of games. Okay, we got 16 games to go through. So what I thought I would do is I'm going to give you my picks. Then I'm going to go through all 16 games for tomorrow. I'm going to give you a pick and a play on them all. Okay, what I think is going to happen, where I think it wouldn't be a bad idea to go ahead and bet on these games. Okay, so that's how I'm going to do it. And then we'll get into conversations with you guys, and we'll start talking about things you want to talk about and answering questions and whatnot. And we'll hang out here for, we'll hang out for till 6:45 or so, like 45 minutes. Okay, so let's start here, and I can give you the picks and the plays for where I'm going to be. If you're listening to this, you're not going to be able to see this, but I'm going to go ahead and run this through. Hopefully my mic does not cut off here when I do that. Okay, it does not. All right, so here's where we are for the picks that I've got going on for tomorrow, okay? Got 4 plays going for you guys coming up here for tomorrow. Let's start with Villanova, a play I gave you guys last night on the Daily Juice. Villanova, -6.5. That number has come down. There's money on Winthrop, okay? You probably get a better number than I'm going to get. But here's what I'm thinking for Nova. Nova's had enough time to figure this out. Villanova did not perform well in the Big East tournament or against Providence in the game right before the Big East tournament following the loss of Colin Gillespie, their starting point guard. But they've had quite a bit of time to figure this out now, okay? They've had quite a bit of time to practice, to get ready, and to see Winthrop. And I'm going to roll with the better athletes. I'm going to roll with the better players. And I'm going to roll with Villanova -6.5 against Winthrop. And I'm going to fade a trendy dog. There's a lot of trendy dogs out there. There's a lot of people who are all about Winthrop. And on Saturday, you're going to see it, because I'm going to come back and I'm going to go against everyone here with their trendy picks. And I could fall on my face and be dead wrong, but I'm looking at the Creighton Blue Jays. I'm looking at Virginia. I'm looking at Villanova. I'm looking at chalk. And I'm looking at the teams that we all bet on and watched all year long. And I know the dance is crazy. And I know 6.5 can be a big number. But I just think Villanova is way more talented than Winthrop. And I think the level of competition that Nova played versus who Winthrop played, oh, they won 20-plus games, Matt. Yeah, look at this is not like Drake versus Wichita State in terms of who they've played, all right? I mean, everyone was on Wichita because they were like, well, Wichita had, they played better caliber opponents. Now, it's not the same, okay? Nova played in the Big East, okay? Nova played some wars, and I think they're going to play well enough. I don't think they're going far in the dance. I just think they're better than Winthrop. They're more talented, and I'm going to take Villanova to win and cover at 6.5 here against Winthrop. Pick number 2, North Carolina and Wisconsin. If you guys are longtime listeners of The Juice, you know how I feel about Wisconsin. I haven't been a huge fan of Wisconsin, and I've looked at Wisconsin kind of negatively for most of the year. I've lost a bunch of money on Wisconsin because I just haven't seen the games right. We were on Iowa against Wisconsin, and Wisconsin covered late in the season. North Carolina, their bigs are going to be the difference here. Wisconsin's used to being the bigger team. They're not going to be the bigger team against North Carolina. I liked with North Carolina how they looked at the end of the season. I know things in the ACC didn't go that well. It's going to be a tight game. You got to really look at the point guard play and the guard play for Wisconsin. You got to check that. You can't really, there's like 1 or 2 main options for Wisconsin. You got to check it if you're North Carolina. You got to play defense. But Roy Williams is, I believe, 29-0. in first round games in the NCAA tournament. I think that goes to 30-0 here against Wisconsin. It's basically a pick. It's -1.5. So, I mean, it could be a tight game to down the wire, but I'm going to take North Carolina to win and advance here to take on Baylor in the next round. One dog to talk about here, all right? And that is Syracuse plus the 3. Syracuse is a team that is taking on another one of these trendy dogs in San Diego State. These teams have played before, and San Diego State could not figure out the 3. It comes down to one thing. Could not figure out the 2-3. This comes down to one thing, and really one thing only. And that is whether you're going to see 3s fall for San Diego State. And they're really good at hitting 3s. But Buddy Boeheim has got to play the way that he played like he did in the ACC. And I just think that team for Syracuse is starting to come around here a little bit. Also, the question marks about Brian Dutcher leaving for Minnesota are loud, okay? We've talked about this on my radio show a lot, but Brian Dutcher has a $4 million buyout for every other team except Minnesota, where it's a $1 million buyout. All right. So he has already put this into play where he wants to go to Minnesota. His dad was the coach there. I think he's gone. And I think when players at mid-majors know that, they can have it in the back of their minds like, hey, coach, you're out of here anyway. So what do I care what you say? And Syracuse has Jim Boeheim. Okay, and you've got that 2-3 zone, and you've got a guy who has been criticized a lot this year for the way things have gone, and a run in the NCAA tournament would go a long way for Syracuse and Jim Boeheim to shut everybody up as to how they've been talking about this Syracuse team. And his son Buddy was on fire in the ACC. He's going to have to be on fire again here if Syracuse wants to win this game, but I got Syracuse to beat San Diego State. I just think Syracuse has played a higher level of competition too. More difficult games in the ACC than what San Diego State has played in the Mountain West Conference. Way too many games. The bottom of the Mountain West Conference was absolute garbage this year. Complete trash. So I think up against Syracuse, you got longer athletes, better basketball team. Syracuse +3. And then the last play going for tomorrow, all these are a half a unit, by the way. Rutgers. I like this team. I like Rutgers a lot. I like their talent. This is a team that's got a chance to make some noise. This is a team that if they advance in taking on Houston, I think they had a chance to push Houston here. And look, this could be a big year for them. Rutgers played in the Big Ten. They played some really tough competition, some really good teams, beating some good teams, hanging around, okay? They've got to take care of the basketball, and they've got to rebound. But I think Rutgers is going to win this game here against Clemson. It's just -1 here. So I'm on Rutgers -1 against the Clemson Tigers here. Okay, so 4 plays, half a unit going here for us on a Friday. I'm not playing any hockey. I'm not playing any NBA. We're going strictly with these 4 plays, and then I've got 5 going on Saturday. Okay, and I want to get into. But we're doing one of these live streams on Saturday morning, and I'm doing the Daily Juice on Saturday morning as well. So I don't want to give you the plays yet here on Saturday, but I have 5 plays on Saturday because I do like 5 games on Saturday. So Villanova -6.5, North Carolina -1.5, Syracuse +3, and Rutgers -1. Okay, so let's go through all 16 games here, and let's talk about what I've picked and what I think is going to happen against the spread. Okay, Virginia Tech and Florida. Virginia Tech is a really interesting team. This game is a pick between Florida and Virginia Tech. I'm taking Virginia Tech to win this game, but I don't know which Florida team's going to show up. And if the good Florida team shows up, they can win this game. If the bad Florida team shows up, I don't know. I'm taking Virginia Tech, but I don't love it. I couldn't bet it. I don't love it. This is a game to watch. Tight game. 1 or 2 possessions will dictate and determine this for sure. Second game, Colgate and Arkansas. Welcome to the most interesting game from a book perspective because everyone's on Colgate. I have Arkansas to win. The money line is -390. I don't know about that. That's a lot of juice to put down on Arkansas. But for Colgate to keep the game close, a lot of people think the metrics are wrong. The metrics say Colgate is going to be in this game. If you believe the numbers, they're going to be in this game. A lot of people say that's not true. People I've talked to have said that's not true. Arkansas is going to run him out of the gym. They're going to kill him. Musselman's got some great young talent. He's a really good coach in the tournament. He's had success with Nevada. Look out for this Arkansas team. Okay, I like Arkansas. They win the game. How many points? 9.5 is a lot of points. I don't know. Too many points to lay. Arkansas wins. If I had to bet it, I'd take Colgate plus the 9.5, but I don't know. Third game, Drexel and Illinois. Well, Illinois is my champion. So Illinois to win this game and going away, if I'm going to bet this game, okay, Illinois in the first half point spread is 13. The line is 22.5. I hate when they do that. I hate when they shade because I know people are going to do this. So really, the line should be like 10 or 11, right? 22.5 should be 11.5. It's 13. It's 13 for a reason because they know. Bet the first half on Illinois, -13. If you're going to play the game, bet the first half. Don't lay 22.5 points. You don't know what the guys are going to do when all the bench players come in the later part of the first half. It could be just you get burned from a last-second shot or something. Don't like it. Texas Tech and Utah State's an interesting matchup, and I have Tech winning this game, but I am confused. I am feeling like I don't know what to do with this game exactly because of the fact that Utah State shoots the three pretty well, and Texas Tech defensively is very good. I'm not playing any totals, but I think the under 131 in this game would definitely be in play. I think Tech wins. I would probably take Tech -4, but I'm not positive. I don't feel great about that. I think the coaching is great. Craig Smith's a really good coach. Has had success in the tournament, and then you got a really good coach in Chris Beard. So if I had to take it, I would take Texas Tech -4. Ohio State and Oral Roberts, I looked at this game. I think the Buckeyes win big. I think 16 is a big number. I'm a little concerned about the Buckeyes after that Big Ten performance being so good and maybe a big letdown for them, though. I'm a little nervous about that. I have Ohio State in the Final Four. So I want Ohio State to come out here and just destroy Oral Roberts. But again, it's a big number. Same thing with Baylor and Hartford. If you're going to bet this game, it's Baylor in the first half against Hartford. Hartford's god-awful, by the way. They are not a good team. The number is 14.5 for Baylor. I would bet Baylor in the first half. If I'm going to bet Baylor in the first half. It's funny how everyone's like, well, maybe they keep it close in the first half, but I don't think so with these 16 seeds. Hartford is not good. They have no athletes anywhere close to Baylor. That game, I may bet that game in the first half myself because I think Baylor's just going to absolutely destroy Hartford. After watching Hartford play UMass Lowell in the championship game of the America East, that is not a good basketball team. All right, Oregon State and Tennessee. I looked at this game. This game was almost on my radar. This game almost made the card. So when you look at Oregon State, I don't think they're that good. I think Oregon State's going to get destroyed in this game. Oregon State went on a miracle run and won the Pac-12. And everyone's like, oh, Oregon State. Look, they're not a good team. The Pac-12 is not a good conference. Tennessee plays really strong defense. I like this Volunteer team. I'd lay the 8.5, all right? So a couple of you guys are wondering about the parlay. I'm going to lay that, 8.5. I'm going to lay Liberty, plus 7.5. A game that almost made the card, but my guy Papa Bear, who's on my show every single Thursday, that's his play of the week, is Liberty plus 7.5, all right? So we're going to go plus 7.5 for Liberty against Oklahoma State. That is a very popular pick for a lot of people. A lot of people really, really like that play and think Liberty's going to keep that game very close. Oklahoma State might win on like a Cade Cunningham last-second shot, but look at Liberty and what they're capable of doing. Take Tennessee minus 8.5 against Oregon State. And we'll find one more game here for the other game that almost made my Baylor in the first half. Let's see what happens when we add in Baylor in the first half here. Laying 14.5 up against a really bad Hartford team. So let's see. So if we were to parlay that, that's plus 600. There you go. All right. So there is your don't play a parlay for Friday because, well, the podcast won't. Well, this is part of the podcast. So that's just on the fly. You guys get to see me do it. Tennessee minus 8.5, Liberty plus 7.5, Baylor minus 14.5 in the first half. That is plus 600. Okay, so there you go. There's a 3-leg parlay at plus 600 to win. So if you want to bet the parlay. There you go. We're 2-8 so far betting those, by the way. So we're still technically making money on them. And we'll see if Baylor destroys. Hartford's really, really bad. Tennessee minus 8.5 probably is the most shaky of those three bets because I do think Liberty is going to cash that 7.5. That's not my play, so I already bet that myself. I bet Liberty plus 7.5, but that's not my play. So I don't take people's plays and say, okay, here, and give it to you guys as if it's my play. No, but if you want extra action and pull the 4 games we talked about, you want extra action, you can go ahead and jump on that if you would like. Okay, so let me just pull those down from the picks perspective. All right, so we're going Tennessee, Liberty plus 7.5, Tennessee minus 8.5, and we're going first half for Baylor 14.5. Okay, let's see, Georgia Tech. Would I skip a game? Nope, Georgia Tech and Loyola Chicago. All right, so Georgia Tech's starting center is out due to COVID-19. That's why that line has moved dramatically to minus 4.5. I was going to take Loyola Chicago, and then the line moved dramatically, and I was like, okay, and then it kept on moving. I like Loyola Chicago to win this game, but I think Georgia Tech very well might keep this game within 4.5 points. If I had to bet this, I would take Georgia Tech plus 4.5. I'm curious where the line will close. If this line continues to climb 5, 6, somewhere in that range, I'll be on Georgia Tech. Okay, I will take Georgia Tech to maybe win the game outright, plus 180, plus 200 on the money line. It may be worth taking Georgia Tech just given the level of competition they've played. But I think Josh Pastner is a really good coach, but they're playing above their heads here a little bit. And Loyola Chicago with Porter Moser is a really good team, really good coach team. They got the bigs inside to handle this and maybe exploit the fact that there's not going to be the center there, for Georgia Tech. If I had to bet it, I'll take Tech plus 4.5. I'll wait to see how many points I can get out of that. Wisconsin and North Carolina, already told you, I'm on North Carolina minus 1.5. Cleveland State and Houston. So Houston is a horrible matchup for Cleveland State. Just absolutely horrible. But Cleveland State can score. They can run, they can shoot, they can score. So I don't want to take that in the first half because Cleveland State might hit a bunch of threes early and be up. I also don't want to lay the 20 points with Houston because I'm a little concerned about Houston's ability to with backups and whatnot. They have killed teams before. I like Houston a lot. I've got Houston going to the Sweet 16. If Houston does play Rutgers, I will be on Houston, just depending on what the line's going to be. But I think Houston wins the game. I think Houston's going to beat Cleveland State. I just don't know about 20. They could. They have beaten people by 30, 35 points. This is a bad matchup for Cleveland State, okay? It's just a matter of how many points Houston wants to win the game by. That's my problem. And I just don't know. Purdue and North Texas. Line is 7.5 for Purdue. I have Purdue winning this game, but if I had to bet this, North Texas, I think, will put a scare in Purdue. The difference might be that 7'3" center for Purdue. The kid's long. The kid's really hard to guard. North Texas has no one to really match up with him, but they're faster and more athletic than Purdue. They're going to push Purdue. They're going to run. So my question really comes down to whether or not Purdue can blow out North Texas. I'm not sure. So if I was going to bet it, I would take North Texas plus 7.5. Just not that comfortable because if they're not hitting threes and they're turning the basketball over, Purdue could win that game going away. Syracuse and San Diego State. You guys know I'm on Syracuse plus the 3 there in that game. Morehead State and West Virginia. I like West Virginia a lot, and I'm a big fan of them, but I just don't know about Morehead State. I don't know enough about them. I haven't seen them play, okay? I've seen a lot of teams in this tournament play. I haven't seen Morehead State play. 13's a lot of points. This is just a no-play game for me. I really don't have a good feel at all on this game for Morehead State and West Virginia. I am on Nova minus 6.5 against Winthrop. One game that I am watching, all right? And in the Discord channel, you guys very well might get this ad from me tomorrow morning, okay? Georgetown against Colorado. I haven't bet this game yet. On my bracket, I have Georgetown winning this game outright. I'm not there yet. It's plus 190. I might be on a quarter unit on the 2-1 odds for Georgetown to win this game outright. Again, I'm fading the Pac-12. Colorado is a decent team. Georgetown's long, and they're hard to match up against. And if Georgetown's threes are falling, I just need to do a little bit more research into Georgetown up against teams like Colorado as to what their shooting percentage is like. But if I can get Georgetown plus 6, plus 7, I'm going to be on Georgetown most likely, plus or maybe even money line, taking Georgetown against Colorado. So the Discord channel is where I'll put that, bettingpros.com/chat to get into the Discord channel. If you're on YouTube, right below here, I guess everyone's on YouTube, but that's the only place I am right now. I'm taping the podcast, but and no one else is on YouTube. Down below, there's a link on our YouTube channel for go ahead and to click on it, and you can get into our YouTube, get into our Discord channel to be a part of that. So we've gone over 4,000 users on Discord, which is really cool. And so we'll have a couple plays in there, or at least this play. Well, if I make it with Georgetown over Colorado, or taking the 5.5, I'll make the play in there coming up tomorrow morning. Florida State and North Carolina Greensboro. The line is 10.5. It's a big number. It's a big number. Florida State's really talented. I just feel like I think it's too heavy. And I think UNC Greensboro can keep the game relatively close, but I'm nervous. I think that line is right. I think it's a double-digit 10-point win for Florida State, so I don't see a lot of angle there, a lot of benefit here. Okay, Eastern Washington and Kansas, minus 10.5. Kansas has done this a lot, okay? Kansas has unfortunately done things where they have stumbled and they have lost to good teams early. You have Bucknell, you have Baylor. So you have Bucknell, you have Bradley, and you have Northern Iowa. where they have lost games early that in the tournament. For that reason, I'm not betting Kansas. I think they kill Eastern Washington. But given their history, KU either loses the first game or like goes to the Final Four. Like it's one or the other for them. So Bill Self is notorious for first round losses. Can't do it. That's why I'm passing on this game. So sorry. Okay, those two games. Okay, so sorry. Colorado and Georgetown is on Saturday. Okay, whoops. Sorry. There we go. So we skipped over. So we got into. I went too far. Well, I blew through too many games. And sorry, I was going through a bunch of these games. So where are we here on these first round? Okay, yeah, right. Okay, no, these games are tomorrow. Okay, this is right. Yeah, I'm sorry. So it was saying tomorrow, but tomorrow's Friday and today's not Friday. Okay, so where was I? And yeah, okay, so the Georgetown Colorado game, the Winthrop Nova game was the last game. So Georgetown Colorado is a game that, again, I'm watching for Saturday, and we'll see what happens with that. So those three games I was just talking about are games that we'll handle later. Okay, sorry. So I was getting ahead of myself there a little bit as to where we are with our picks in place. Okay, so in case you're just joining us again, let me throw up the picks again. Nova minus 6.5. North Carolina minus 1.5, Syracuse plus 3, and Rutgers minus 1 is where we are. Okay, so let's get to some of your questions here as to what you guys are doing, where you guys are for your, where's the chat? Okay, where's the chat? Hold on a second. All right, there's the live chat. Okay, all right, so let's get to these questions you guys have. Okay. Matt Gaiman, what a game for Drake. Huge second half. I had that money line live. It was juicy in the second half. Huge hit for you guys. Great job. That's awesome. They did hit that. Let's see. Okay. Let the madness begin. I believe it. Colgate, take the points with Colgate. 8.5 is the play. Look, a lot of people are on that. Okay. That's a very popular play tomorrow. And again, I'm fading a lot of these plays. Okay. I'm fading a lot of these like, hey, everyone's on it. Go, okay. That's why I'm on everyone's on Winthrop. Okay, everyone's on Winthrop. I'm on Nova. Any no parlays, right? So I want to make sure. Did I mess up and give you guys something that's not going to be? Let's see. The Liberty game. So that game is tomorrow. That game is tomorrow, and Baylor is tomorrow, right? So I think I didn't screw that up, right? Let's see. Baylor is tomorrow. Yeah. Okay. Good. So there you go. There's the parlay. Tennessee minus 8.5. Liberty plus 7.5, Baylor minus 14.5 in the first half. There is your 3-team plus 600 parlay for the don't play a parlay. Winthrop's going to beat Nova. See, that's my point. And Rutgers is going to beat Clemson. Well, okay, maybe. I mean, I'm on Rutgers, but I'm not on Rutgers because everybody thinks that. It's because I think that. That's why I'm on Rutgers. I know everyone's on Winthrop. I mean, it's a very chalky public play. Okay, it's very. A lot of people are on it. I'm fading it on this. So. Cut back to you, Matt. I love your hand gestures. Yeah. Who will win the BYU game on Saturday? You have to listen to the live stream on Saturday morning for that because there's going to be a live stream right here on YouTube for Saturday morning at 8 o'clock Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern time, talking all about that game and more coming up for BYU. That's Utah State minus 4.5 is a good play. Utah State's not 4.5. That's plus 4.5. Yeah, Utah State's plus 4.5. That's plus 4 now. FanDuel's at plus 4. For that here on that. Why did your friend like Liberty so much? I've watched both, and Oklahoma State is the better team in my eyes. Okay, well, look, handicappers have their own situations. And, I mean, if you've been on the Daily Juice before or our live streams before or you've heard me talk in the Discord or read me talk in the Discord about my guys, I'm an aggregator of information. Okay, that's what I am. I'm an aggregator of information. So I believe that it's smarter for me to listen to as many people as possible and take in as much information as possible. And then guys I trust, and Sean Lockhart, Papa Bear, is someone I trust. I've known him for 4 years now. He's been on my radio show for 3. And he wins consistently. He puts up his bets, puts up his plays. He's one of the 2 handicappers that sells picks that I actually have on my radio show that we go back and forth all the time about, I think you shouldn't sell picks. And he's like, I think you're wrong. And I have known him I respect him. I think he does things the right way. And so I listen to him. And when he says something like that and he comes on and he wins more than he loses, how about that? So he really likes Liberty. He thinks Liberty can push tempo. He thinks Liberty can shoot a bunch of threes, and he thinks they can keep the game close. He's not saying Liberty wins outright. He's just saying 7.5 points is too heavy for Oklahoma State, and he's a little down on the Big 12. I don't agree with that. I'm not down on the Big 12. I think the Big 12 is really good this year. In particular, the top teams in the Big 12. I love West Virginia. I've liked Baylor a lot, although their defensive efficiency has not been nearly as good as it's been in the past. I think that there are teams that are going to make runs here in the Big 12. I've got Texas in the Final Four. So my Final Four is Gonzaga, Texas, Ohio State, Illinois. That's my Final Four. So that's why. I mean, it's not my play. Again, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I can explain all of it to you because it's not my play. But Liberty plus 7.5 is his play. He likes Liberty a lot coming up here today. Iowa minus 8 in the first half. Yeah, look, I think that's a Saturday game, but I agree with that. I think Iowa kills Grand Canyon, personally. And then they lose to Oregon. How about that? I think Iowa's going to take apart Grand Canyon. Iowa loves to beat bad teams. If you look at, historically speaking, when they play some of these cupcakes, they tend to kill it. When Garza's got a big advantage and you can't match up with a dude like that's that big and they can run and shoot, this is where he goes to work. And I think he just goes to work. So first half Iowa in that game against Grand Canyon, sure. I think that'd be a good play. First half for the game as well. But we'll get into all that coming up on the live stream coming up for Saturday for the Daily Juice. Any over-under total points you like in the first round? All right, here's my thing, okay? I have this stupid rule that I am not going to bet a over-under in this tournament. Dave Sharapan and I have a running joke right now. He wants to see how many rounds it takes me to break that promise. He thinks I will get involved with a total. I just think basketball in tournaments, it's so difficult to bet tournament over-unders, totals. I just think you don't know how the game's going to go. The pace of the game planning, it's hard. You can say, okay, yeah, it's going to go over, and so often tournament games go under. So many tournament games go under. I mean, everybody likes this Norfolk State and App State over, right? They've scored 56 points in the first half. I think the total was 140 or something like that. I mean, everyone thought that both teams are going to run up and down and shoot and score. 20 points in the first half for Appalachian State, right? So maybe the second half everything changes and maybe the over does come in. But I just think it's hard to predict pace of play. It's hard to predict how teams react, how they hit shots. It's just tough. So if I can avoid it, I'm not going to bet totals in this tournament. Just sides and money lines. That's where I'm going to be. We lost the money line bet with Mount St. Mary's this morning. We got the Drake bet later in the day at +2. We got Michigan State coming up later on today. So if you're listening to this on Friday morning for the Daily Juice podcast, I do not know if we went 2-1 or 1-2. Hopefully we went 2-1, but that Michigan State play is so bleeping public that I am scared to death of it. So much money. At DraftKings, 90% of the money was on Michigan State. I hate that. You guys know I absolutely hate that. So I don't know. Maybe we go 2-1, but I'm feeling a 1-2 night, unfortunately, on this. Does it make more sense for an over or under betting in live betting? I mean, yeah, okay. I mean, you can do that. You can live bet, but this is not what, I mean, at some point, okay, there's going to be a television network designed to just live wagering, and you're going to have people who will literally tell you live betting. Like Doug Zarian from ESPN doesn't bet pregame much. He bets in-game all the time. That's just what he does. I'm not like that because my job is not built that way. He is a little bit more flexible because he's the host of the Daily Wager, and so he's not inclined to have to. He makes picks, but he's making one pick per show, all right? He's hosting the show, and he'll make one pick. That's not what I do. I host a 4-hour radio show where I've got to make more than one pick. He hosts a 1-hour television show. I'm not knocking what he does. I love Doug. I'm just saying it's a different set of circumstances where he can live wager a lot more and make most of his bets because no one's looking for him for his live bets. He's making his own bets and plays and whatnot. For me, I need to be more on the studying side going into a game. I live wager. Don't get me wrong. I live bet with the best of them. And I probably will bet over and under. But for official quote-unquote Daily Juice official plays, I take those really seriously. Like that record is really important to me. We track that. That's really important. So taking flyer bets and doing ridiculous things and just like firing on stuff, of course I do that. Like everybody else. Do I bet stupid parlays? Of course I bet stupid parlays. Should I not do it? Of course I shouldn't do it. I just don't do it a lot. I'll have like one $5 bet a weekend going that may return like, $200 or something. It never hits. I know it's not going to hit. I just do it for fun. So that's kind of the point of like, I was talking about this on my radio show a little bit, but New Jersey had a 20.5% hold in the month of February on parlays. The average hold for a sports book should be like 6-5%, somewhere in that range. 20.5%. So 4 times what they normally win, what they normally keep, 20% on parlays. That's a huge moneymaker. They love you for betting parlays. If you do it knowing you're going to lose and just for $5 or whatever, but if you're consistently every day betting 30, 40, $50 parlays, trying to hit that home run, don't bet a parlay. Don't bet the parlay, period. So there you go. All right, a couple more minutes here. Let's see. Alabama and Michigan in the same region. I'm so tired of how good Gonzaga is. Hard to be bad when you don't play any team in the Big Ten could stomp on them. Shannon, I'm going to tell you right now that the 2 seed, the 3 seed, and the 4 seed in Gonzaga's region, Gonzaga curb stomped them. This idea that Gonzaga didn't play anybody is really wrong. All right? I know you may be a Big Ten fan and, we play this great. Okay, I understand it. I have Gonzaga and Illinois playing in the championship game, and I have Illinois beating Gonzaga. Okay? So I will go with the Big Ten over the West Coast Conference. But Gonzaga's in the final game. Gonzaga's in the Final Four. Gonzaga's really good. And Gonzaga, whatever. You have to get mad when I say Gonzaga wrong. It's like Nevada and Nevada. People get all ticked off when you say that wrong too in the West. It's like it must be a West Coast like desert thing. But Gonzaga is really good. Like really, really, really good. Okay? They have a lottery pick at guard. Jalen Suggs is legit. Like legit. Really, really good. Timmy's a really good big. They only play 7 players. That's their problem. Illinois beats them because of their depth, and I think in a championship game setting, oftentimes fouls come into play. And I think Illinois wins the game. So that's why I have Illinois over Gonzaga. Love Bama as the Final Four choice. Nope, I have UConn beating Alabama. Just FYI. I've never heard you go over 1 unit. What would it take to bring that out? Oh, okay. So if you're new, so the reason why I'm not going over 1 unit is because of COVID, and I don't think we can use the numbers in the same way, even though there are numbers now you can say you can reference, but historically speaking, numbers are out the window because there's no fans, there's no travel, the games are different, coaches, you hear everything, the players hear everything, referees hear everything. It's just very, very different. Without fans, it's a different type of environment. Home court, totally different. Home ice, totally different. Home field, totally different. Okay, so that's why until we get to like, I think probably by July, I'll be back betting full units on everything. And I'll be willing to risk the bankroll, and I'll be willing to come on out and go full unit and go from there. But the reason why I don't go over 1 unit is because of flat wagering. So flat wagering is the premise, is the thought that regardless of the juice you're paying, you bet the same number over and over again. So for math purposes, you can bet $100 on everything. So if you're betting minus 225 odd, that would return about $44. Okay. So you bet $100. We just did this with the Discord play for that one last week where it was minus 225 odds. So you go ahead and if you're betting $100, you're betting minus 225 and it's returning $44. Whether I'm betting 4 units, 2 units, 8 units, no, I don't do any of that, okay? I know I'm going to lose. I am a conservative gambler. I play defense, not offense. A true gambler plays offense. A true gambler attacks. That's just not, I'm in this for the long term, all right? I'm in this for the marathon. I'm not in this for the quick fix. I'm not in this I'm not selling subscriptions. All right. I've been doing this before the Daily Juice began and I'm sticking by it and it's worked for me so far. because I know the down is coming. I know the 0-8-1 is coming. It's always lurking around the corner. So I'm playing defense for that situation. That's why I'm not arrogant, cocky. You don't see me, I celebrate my victories, but I don't use terms like kill your bookie, bang your bookie, crush the book. Like, I don't do any of that stuff. That's just not what I know. There are smarter people out there than me. I know there are better people at gambling than me. I just try to talk to them. That's my goal. My goal is to try to learn from them. If you're better at this than I am, okay, can I talk to you? How do you do it? What do you do? How do you study? I want to learn, right? I'm not the end all be all. I'm not an oracle. I'm not Yoda. I don't have Biff's almanac. Okay. I know how tough this is. I know how hard this is. The greatest gambler in the world won 57% of his bets. Documented. When you know that and you realize that, well, you have to play defense because the books are always up on us. It's their 110 to our $100 every single time. And they're always leading. They're always, we always have one hand tied behind our back in the boxing fight. So because of that, I'm slipping and moving and I'm trying to be a bit more elusive. And I don't want to get hit because I know that overhand right is coming. So I want to slip it and come back with something a little more quick, right? That's how I do it. And other people, you're welcome to bet whatever you want on my picks, okay? You're welcome to take, we had just a run last week where I was 20-7, okay? I had a week about a month ago where I was 20-5. You want to bet more? You want to go full units? And a lot of guys have said that. Matt, you're hot. Some guys are parlaying my picks together and hitting. I don't like that. I don't recommend that. But that's I get why people are trying to do that. I get the idea of why you're doing that. So, to me, it's you can bet whatever you want. I just tell you what I'm betting and how I'm betting it, and we track it that way, okay? So, again, I'm a conservative bettor. I play defense with the books. I don't feel like their algorithms and their army of people that I can go to war with them and win. Some do. And I know people who do go to war with the books and win consistently and win big, put big bets down and win consistently. That's just not me. That's just what I do. Okay. That's just not what I do. So hopefully that makes sense. Okay. Before we wrap here, Gators by 3, Florida or Virginia Tech. I have Vatech money line tomorrow. It's a pick 'em, so I would say I would take Vatech tomorrow, but I can easily see Florida winning the game. I didn't bet it, so I just for that reason it's a tough deal. Do you know if the handle for FanDuel on Michigan State is because of the spread the love event? Yeah, of course it is. It's like plus 78 or whatever it is for Michigan State. I don't know. I forget what it is. It's something stupid. Of course it's that. It's because they just they're giving you free money. It's a promotion. It's what books do in non-Vegas books is what books do. D Nizzy on the Discord. Who's that? Is that Nick? Who's D Nizzy on the Discord channel? That dude's phenomenal. If you guys aren't trailing that guy's picks, that guy is darn good. Okay? He's really, really good. I don't know if he can talk. I can talk. I don't know if he can talk. I can make winning bets and I can talk. I don't know if he can talk. If he can talk, he could have a future in this biz because the dude's good, documented good on the Discord channel. He's become sort of like a folk hero on the Discord channel. If you're not on that, again, there's a link below me here. You guys can get into the Discord channel. How do you see the USC Drake game turning out? Drake money line. How about that? I think Drake wins that game. I've got Drake advancing. I think that they beat USC. Again, I'm fading the Pac-12. I don't like the Pac-12 this season. So going with Drake on the money line. Okay, so before we wrap here, let me quickly give you a little bit of a read here from our friends at BetMGM, who are the proud sponsors of the Daily Juice podcast, things that you guys can take advantage of coming up for today. All right. Juice 100 is the promo code. You guys got to hop in here from BetMGM. Juice 100, when you sign up for a new account at BetMGM, you receive $160 in free bets when you bet $10 on a college basketball March matchup. The first round, you bet $10 on any college basketball game played in the first round tomorrow, and you get a $10 free bet for every college basketball game that's played on that day. That is $160 on Friday, $160 on Saturday, and so on and so on and so on. In the second round, when it gets to Sunday and Monday, it's $20 on a college basketball game in the second round, and you get $20 in free bets on every college basketball game played on that day for $160 of free bets, because there's only 8 games in the second round. So it's $160 for free from BetMGM using the promo code JUICE100 when you sign up for a new account coming up here for round 1 or round 2. That promo code JUICE100 when you sign up for a new account using BetMGM. All right. That's going to do it for the Daily Juice podcast and the Daily Juice live stream here on YouTube. Remember, we are back on Saturday morning doing this again, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, 8 a.m. Pacific Time here on YouTube. Hit subscribe if you hadn't hit subscribe yet. If you're listening to this podcast on Friday morning, hit subscribe when you come onto the YouTube channel so you're always notified when we go live. My Daily Juice YouTube every single morning, the YouTube version, the video version of the Daily Juice podcast does drop here on YouTube for betting pros. My name is Matt Perrault. You can follow me on Twitter at SportsTalkMatt. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I'll talk to you for the Daily Juice on Saturday morning and the Daily Juice live stream happening as well here on YouTube as we roll on with March Madness. Good luck with your brackets. Good luck with your bets. And hopefully we got that Michigan State game to cash here as to what we're doing here for the Daily Juice in the Daily Juice podcast.